Yesterday, Bill Daley stepped down. He was the chief of staff for President Obama. We got a new chief of staff. His name is Jacob Lew, otherwise known as Jack Lew. And the question is, what kind of guy is he? Is he a solid progressive, or is he another establishment guy who's in favor of the banks, etc.? Well, we have our answer in a number of different ways. I will describe to you who Jack Lew is, and it will become evident to you who President Obama has selected. First of all, here's an old headline from a couple months ago from Politico. Lew, a liberal GOP says that it trusts. And it explains how Eric Cantor is a big fan of Jack Lew, among other Republicans, and you begin to get a sense of, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Then you look back at his history and who he worked for. Can you guess who he worked for? Of course, one of the big banks. If President Obama hired him to be one of his top advisors, it would be really weird if he didn't get paid millions of dollars from the financial industry at some point. So here's another guy. So they're like, oh, thank God Rahm Emanuel left. He had made $18 million at a hedge fund, and he was too enamored with the banking industry. So then came Bill Daley, who just in the 1 year alone had made $8.7 million from JP Morgan. Well, oh, thank God Bill Daley's gone. Who's in next? Jack Lew, who's made millions from Citigroup. Now, he made millions in a couple of questionable ways. One was by betting against the subprime mortgage market. So when the economy crashed, they did better. But I actually don't mind that one at all. Look, he made the correct bet on that. He worked in finance. I get it. He shorted what he should have shorted. That's not my problem with Jack Lew. If you're going to have a bone to pick with him at Citigroup, it should be that, in fact, most of his bets were disastrous. In fact, in 1 year alone, his group that he was heading lost over $500 million. After that year, their losses were so bad, they stopped reporting them publicly. And the losses for a group that his group got merged with in total were over $20 billion. And again, you can say, hey, listen, he won some, he lost some. What business is it of ours? Well, it became our business when Citigroup got $45 billion in bailouts and then rewarded Jack Lew another $900,000 in bonuses on his way out the door. 2 weeks later, he was inside the Obama administration. Now, that's a problem. I don't mind if you win on some bets you made on your own, you lose on bets and you got to pay it. Hey, that's your problem, not my problem. But when I'm paying you $1 million for your disaster, for your epic collapse of Citigroup that you had to get bailed out, and then you use my bailout money to give it to Jack Lew, and then he comes inside the office, what do you think he suggests? Of course, at every position he'd been in the Obama administration, he said, oh, no, don't do deregulation of the banks. Don't do regulation of the banks. We should deregulate the banks even more so they can take even crazier risks and cost us even more money. So Jack Lew, yet another stooge of Wall Street that President Obama has promoted. Congratulations to us. And let's give you some more details to be absolutely clear. When he was going up for confirmation, and he was at some point actually talking to the Senate Budget Committee, and Bernie Sanders was asking him, hey, wait a minute now, didn't deregulation cause the problem? The fact that you took away all the rules from Wall Street? He said, quote, in that testimony, the problem in the financial industry preceded deregulation. I personally don't know the extent to which deregulation drove it, but I don't believe that deregulation was the proximate cause. Wrong again, Bob. It was the cause. Once you allowed the companies to mingle our, depositor money with the money that they were gambling with, and you allowed them to bet against their own clients, and then you allowed them to make as big a bet as you want. In 2004, the SEC took away the limits on the size of the bets that they could have, so they could leverage up to the hilt. All those things, and then some, all deregulations, all led to that epic collapse. If Jack Lew, in a best-case scenario, is totally ignorant of that, well, then he's a fool. And the fact that he's a chief of staff of our president is an embarrassment. But I'm afraid he's not ignorant of that. He gained substantially from that. That is part of the problem. Now, meanwhile, of course, the mainstream press loves Jack Lew. He works with Republicans. The Republicans like him. So he must be a great bipartisan guy. Here's the New York Times. Lew has built a reputation as a pragmatic liberal. That means the one that sells you out all the time for the Republicans. A pragmatic liberal who believes Democrats must compromise with Republicans on long-term deficits in order to forestall draconian cuts to entitlement programs like Medicare and Social Security. That's always their code words, like, oh, no, I had to give the Republicans everything they wanted so that we wouldn't have even more cuts later on Medicare and Social Security. No, you didn't. You gave the Republicans what they wanted because you are a Republican. You might not think you're a Republican. You might think, oh, I've been a Democrat my whole life. But what are your actions indicating? When the Republicans deregulated, along with Bill Clinton, the financial industry, you loved it. When the Republicans gave the bailouts and you got nearly $1 million off that bailout, you loved it. When the Republicans cut taxes on the rich, people like you and your friends, you loved it. That's because you are a Republican. You are deeply conservative. And so whenever President Obama goes to replace anybody in his administration, you think, oh my God, hope is around the corner. Maybe he's going to go in the right direction. We only got a year left before the election, even less than a year. And here comes progressive Obama. Nonsense. The guy doesn't have it in him to pick a progressive. He doesn't believe in progressivism. He believes in, what does the establishment say? Who's in favor of the establishment? Jack Lew? Okay, I hug you. Come on in. Can you imagine President Obama not actually picking a progressive as his chief of staff? And they always tell me, oh, no, you don't understand Obama defenders. They're like, no, because of Congress, he can't do X, Y, or Z. Well, this ain't got nothing to do with Congress. It's his chief of staff. Whenever he goes to pick someone in his inner circle, it is always someone deeply conservative and totally pro-banker. Last quote from Ezra Klein of the Washington Post. He says, Lew has, quote, emerged as one of the members of the Obama administration Republicans prefer working with. Well, there you have it. Once again, President Obama, when it is only his choice to make, has picked someone the Republicans love working with because he is deeply conservative.